Hey guys, this is Arsenal Giants PS3, and we are back. Now, I know this is quite an apologetic start to the video, but as you probably well know, me and Tyler haven't done a commentary in absolutely ages, and that's because as of today we both have one more exam left, and these exams, if you don't know, we live in England, are pretty important exams. They pretty much sum up which university we go to, so we kind of took time away from YouTube for a bit, as I'm sure you could tell, but now as we come to the end of our exams, we're going to start making videos again. And one of the series I've wanted to make for quite a long time is a kind of hybrid series, which is a little bit boring, but I've been making a lot of interesting hybrids on Foothead, I think it is, and I just wanted to show you guys some of them, and I'll go into a game after I've shown you the team, because one thing I know I did before was not show any gameplay, and so I've obviously recorrected that. So we're playing a 4-2-2-2, which is a pretty nice formation this year, because the cams, if they're pacey enough, can get in behind and cause some damage if they've got good passing, where wingers often kind of lack that final through ball. But it depends on your cams, and our goalkeeper is going to be in the Serie A, and he's a pretty overpowered keeper. You've probably played against him numerous times. It is Marchetti. Marchetti cost me 1.3k, so he's piss cheap now, and he obviously has the all-round good stats. He's a shot stopper rather than a traditional goalkeeper. He's 6'2", so a good height, and as you can see, it's the top layer of stats there: 86 diving and 88 reflexes, which are going to be important because he's going to just palm the balls away. Every now and again he'll palm a shot into the top corner, which is frustrating, but he's there often enough, you know, just to keep you in those pretty intense games. Our centre back is going to be, no surprise I imagine, Chiellini. Chiellini has been a tank on FIFA now for the past 2 or 3 FIFAs, and we all know why. It's because of the pace. 80 pace is pretty damn good for a centre back. And obviously he backed it up though with very good other stats: defending 86 and heading 84, and even okayish pathing at 64. He cost me under 10,000 coins now, which is ridiculous. He's 6'1", so he's actually relatively, well, he's not small, is he? But he's not the tallest of centre backs, and he still has an aerial threat though with 84 heading. As you can see, he scored 5 goals for me in 33 games. And the other centre back we're going to be partnering him with is from the La Liga and is playing for Real Madrid, and it is the infamous Pepe. Now Pepe again is very, very cheap, 2.3k for an 85 rated player. He again is pretty pacey. 74 pace is more than enough to catch up to people. And he has 84 defending, so worse defending and worse heading than Chiellini. But I find he's actually better than Chiellini because he's a slightly more traditional defender, where Chiellini will just, you know, sprint off past players when he's trying to catch up to them. Pepe, his skill is more in the tackle. And now our right back is going to be from the Serie A as well. Where's the Serie A gone? There. And he's again quite a pacey player. It is Abate, Ignacio Abate, 5'11", just, well, very pacey right back, to be honest. He'll catch up to players, but he often ends up doing double tackles. You know, the tackles where you win it first time, but because his tackling stats aren't great, he'll end up having to win it back again. He relies on his pace, to be honest. There's not too much else to his game. He's a good player to use, and obviously catches up to your Muriels and players like that. But when you use him, he's not one of those defenders you can rely on defensively. He is just really a pacey player. And our left back is going to be from Madrid as well, and Portuguese, Fabio Contral, one of my favourite left backs on the game, if not my favourite left back, purely because he's very good at exactly what his job is, defending. You won't find him up the pitch, whereas I find Abate kind of crossing him more. Fabio Contral will just sit back and defend relatively comfortably, and it's just, you know, with Pepe, this kind of left-hand side of our defence is the far more conservative side. They don't kind of piss around, they get the job done. And that defence, I find, is a really, really solid kind of base to sit back on. Khedira is not going to go to the side. So our first central defensive midfielder is Sami Khedira. Now Khedira is so love-hate. It's complicated. Some games he's amazing and he'll just dictate that midfield, and other games he's atrocious. His pace is sometimes lets him down, but he's more let down, I find, by his dribbling. His dribbling can be bloody awful sometimes. You know, his first touch can just start counter-attacks, and then other times he can take a perfect first touch. He's really, really interesting to use, but he's pretty important because he gets us the chemistry with the centre-backs, and then up the left-hand side of our attack. But as you can see, he actually scored 7 goals for me in 33 games, and he costs 750 coins, so he is a pretty decent player. He's probably the worst player in the team, but he can be fun to use depending on his mood. Our other central defensive midfielder is Kevin Prince Boateng. He has 80 pace, which I didn't really feel it like that. He didn't feel that pacey actually. I'd say he felt more like 72 or 3. Because we're playing him as a central defensive midfielder, he's going to cost us 13k because he is originally a cam. He has 4-star skills, which is nice, and he's got pretty good defending stats, but your defensive kind of duty in the midfield really is going to be up to Khedira. Boateng was okay, but nothing special. That kind of part of the team is a little bit lacking, I find, but still does a pretty good job. Our first cam is Balotelli. He's such a good player in the game. Obviously, he is a little bit wasted at cam, but as you can see by his goal record, I mean, 16 and 33 from cam is pretty impressive, and that's when he comes in, when the ball kind of rolls out, or when your strikers are kind of holding the play up and they're looking for a cam making a run. Balotelli is more than suited for that role with his 84 pace and 82 shooting, and obviously his 80-something strength, I do believe, if I recall correctly. But he's a very good player, a little bit wasted there at cam. But it's important to get our chemistry to the striker and to Boateng, and he still scores quite a few goals. Our other cam is going to be in the Bundesliga, getting in our 3rd league, I do believe, and it is Mario Götze. Götze is, again, he's a player that I kind of struggle to really see why he's an 84 rated player. His passing isn't that amazing, his shooting isn't that amazing, his pace is obviously nice, but his dribbling is definitely his best stat, but it doesn't stand out that much for some reason, but he still does a pretty good job. He's a very good wide cam, and obviously very important to get our striker, get the chemistry for our striker. For some reason I paid 5k for him. That must have been during the team of the season or something, but he did a good job, and he is going to link up to the very overused Marco Reus. Now, half the reason I built this hybrid was to use Marco Reus. For some reason I hadn't used him up until this point, and he was well worth the hype. He is one of the fastest feeling players. He can just run through teams for some reason. Maybe it's because of his height. 5'11" is quite tall for a 90 paced player, and he also obviously has good dribbling, but not so good dribbling that you feel like he's taking too many touches. But it is his 84 shot which makes him such a beast. He just rarely misses your kind of long shot type smash shots, and it's just an all-round beast. Again, I overpaid for him a bit, but when you combine him with this man, Antonio Di Natale, those two are just amazing at striker. They're not the tallest, and they're not the strongest, but my god, they are clinical. 87 and 84 shots. Di Natale cost me 23k, which is a bargain for a player with 87, 87, 82, 88 as their main stats. And the beautiful thing about Di Natale, not only is he ridiculously fast and has a ridiculously overpowered shot, he plays like a high-up playmaker. He's really, really good at playing the through balls to Marco Reus and occasionally Balotelli and Götze, and is just one of the most clinical strikers I've ever used on this game. So that's a squad. So now we'll move on to some footage. I've just recorded a couple of goals and stuff, but I'm just going to go through my top 3 favourite players in this team. And number 1 is the centre-back, Giorgio Chiellini. Now, Chiellini is one of those centre-backs that at first you look at and think, you know, he's got good pace, and that's what a lot of people go for on Ultimate Team. But if you use Chiellini right, then he can be probably, from what I've used, the best defender on the game, because although he's not the tallest, 6'1", he's actually got very nice stats. He's got 84 defending and 86 heading, I'm pretty sure, and he's just one of those players which he'll take the ball off anyone's feet. I mean, you playing in Division 1, you come up against Messi and Ronaldo quite often actually, and he will do a very good job of just avoiding the kind of LTRT dribble to go past him. He's good in the air, and he's in the right place at the right time. My second favourite player in the team was Marco Reus. Now, Reus is just ridiculously fast. I don't know what it is about Reus. I don't know whether or not it's the fact that he's you know, he's got good dribbling as well as good pace, but he just seems to be able to whiz past anyone that he comes up against. He's just ridiculously fast, and he's got a very good finish. I wouldn't say as good as 84 shooting, but he's just a clinical striker. But my favourite player on this team was Antonio Di Natale. Now, this was the first time I'd used Di Natale on the game, and he has everything you need in a striker. He's even got a good header, which, despite being 5'7", came as quite a shock. I don't know what it is about Di Natale. He's another one of those players which feels very quick. He's not held back, despite the fact he's actually got a very good dribbling stat on him. He's just one of those players which, if you just run with him, I mean, this is a good example in this clip here. If you run with him, he'll keep the ball close to him, but he'll also be insanely fast. And he has one of the best shots I've used on this game. 87 shooting on the card stat does not lie. He is clinical as anything, and just an all-round superb finisher. You can always rely on him, whether finesse or power shot to score. And overall, I would give this team out of 10 a 8. It was a generally well-balanced 4-2-2-2 side. I won Division 1 several times with it, and it was generally quite a pleasure to use. So thanks guys for watching. I hope my first commentary back hasn't been too bad, and hopefully I will be bringing you a lot more videos soon. Thanks for watching, guys.